Hello, everyone, and welcome. I hope everybody had a wonderful Easter. Today is Tuesday, April the 11th, 2023, and I am really excited to share with you three cards today. Mary, thank you for joining me. It's warm here in Cleveland too, and no rain, with lots of yard work planned at this end also later today. So I'm so glad you could join me. If you're here with me live, please leave me a comment. Let me know where you're from. I love learning where everyone that's watching me is from. And also, thank you for joining me and helping me grow my channel. If you're new, welcome. I'm so glad you're here with me. And if you're watching the replay, have any questions, leave me a comment and I promise I'll get back to you and give you the answers. So today we're going to do a little different. We're going to play with designer series paper. I'm really excited about this one. This was the very first stamp set that I chose out of the new catalog. It is the Cheerful Daisies bundle, and I just love it. I love the stamps and the dies, but I have to look, fresh as a daisy paper. And we are going to use the paper, and it's pretty much simple stamping. This paper is beautiful and it does a lot of the work for you, where you only have to add a greeting and maybe an embellishment. So I'm going to show you three different cards. I have a fourth, it's not quite done. I'm still trying to figure out what to do with it, but I'm going to show you that one too. So stay with me through to the end. Now, don't worry about measurements, because there's a lot of different measurements with these, because each card is a little bit different. Those are going to be down by 6 o'clock. There's going to be a link right down below in the description that you can click on, and there's going to be a downloadable PDF where you'll see measurements, supplies, maybe not so much yet because these are not available to the public. But as soon as they go live to the public on May 2nd, I will update that PDF to include the supplies. But meanwhile, you have the measurements and you will have the instructions. So let's switch that camera over and I'll stop talking. Okay, hopefully you can see me well. I want to bring in the stamp set and the dies to just show you a little bit of them. These are the Cheerful Daisies. I love this bundle. They are a two-step stamp, but they're also quite detailed, and I've just started using it. But I wanted to show you the designer series paper because it is great for someone who's new to stamping. You can make some quick and easy cards with just the paper and adding a greeting and maybe an embellishment here and there. But these are photopolymer stamps, and you can see a large and small daisy. You have several greetings, which I love. You made my day. Oops, a daisy, so sorry. Wishing you the brightest birthday, and your friendship means everything. And the script is different on almost every one of those greetings. So really pretty. Now, if you bring in the dies, which we're going to use a little bit, not today, but in the next week or so. This is a die that's one piece that cuts out all three daisies. And these detailed dies actually fit in, and you have a two-layer die cut. And then you also have the dies that match the greetings or the stamps. For the greetings today, if I don't just cut it plain, I've used this die cut for my greetings. And other than that, we're just going to use the paper. So I want to bring that in for you. Now today, I am going to show you where I've used this for a card, started to use this one for a card. And then I've cut pieces and parts of the other papers. So I want to show you. But this is such a great start for quick and easy cards. And all I did, and I'm going to show you as I cut this one out, is I used my trimmer to cut these out. And it was really easy for me. This is another piece that we're going to use. I love this. And then daisies with the crushed curry and garden green. This one, we're pulling in some of those new colors. We're pulling in the copper um, in here. This is, I believe it's the boho blue. And then we have the mauve. So really, really pretty designer series paper. And if you turn them over, you have some brush stroke designs. Some are just monochromatic and some have other colors to them. Now, this color is the Pebbled Path. This is the mauve. I believe this is our boho blue. Whoops. This one is our copper clay, new in color. And this one is our wheat. And I'm still learning all the names. So gorgeous, gorgeous papers. So let's get started. Hi, Carol. Welcome. I'm hoping your weather in Connecticut is good too. So the first card we're going to make is using the copper clay cardstock. And I've done a lot of cutting. These are easy cards. So I wanted to just show you how I put them together, but how you can use designer series paper. You know, that's great whether you're a beginner or whether you're an avid stamper. Sometimes we all need a quick card. So again, don't worry about the measurements, but this one is 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4.25, using the new in color copper clay. I really love this color. I love the earth tones of the new colors. Wasn't kind of sure how they would go with all of the other, our classics, but they are perfect. So here we're starting off with that as our base. And then I pulled in the Pretty Peacock because you can see it's in our designer series paper. So this is a layer and this is 4 by 5.25. So let's go ahead and we're going to adhere this one down. Oh, Carol, I'm glad your weather is good too. You and Mary and I are pretty lucky. We are due to possibly hit 80 on Thursday, but then we go back to the 50s on the weekend with rain. I hope everybody had a nice holiday weekend and able to celebrate. We saw both of our daughters, and my granddaughter turned 9 on Easter, or 8 on Easter. Oh boy. And she'd be upset with me if I said 9, or she heard me say 9. So we had a very nice holiday. So this is the designer series paper I showed you. It is cut at 3 3/4 by 5. And I don't want to put that down yet. I was too busy talking. So what I did is I adhered the layer, but we're going to adhere a layer of ribbon to this. So with that said, I'm going to take a piece of ribbon and I'm just going to adhere it to my multi-purpose glue. Now you can use glue. You can also use your tape runner or Stampin' Seal Plus, whatever you call it that you use. Not everybody uses the same. And I always encourage you to use what you have. And then I'm just going to wrap this around here and catch it on the glue. So here's our ribbon. And now I'm going to add some more glue just to the layer. And I want to make sure I get some on the ribbon because that's going to hold it down. All right. Not so much talking, more concentrating, huh? And then, so this is the 3 3/4 by 5. So we're going to adhere this down. Now you can take a glue dot and hold that down, but I'm going to actually put my greeting over it. So that will hold it down for us. So let's go ahead and do that. And I've already stamped my greeting. I stamped it in the, I wanted the copper clay, but I stamped it in the pebbled gray, which goes very well too, because right in here you have that pebbled gray around the yellow for the flower. So I'm going to pop this up with dimensionals. And I'm going to lay my dimensionals off to the corners. And I'm going to actually use my minis for this. Let me pull those in here. And I'm going to put them on the corners of my greeting because I don't want them sitting on the ribbon. I want it to lay flat around the ribbon, and that will help to adhere that down. But also, when I do put it on the ribbon, I find it doesn't lay as well. So I put it off to the corners, and then that just kind of fits over in the center. And you can see it lays flat. Now I want to add a little something to this. So I'm going to bring in my 2023-2025 color dots. Good morning, Dixie. Thank you for joining. Carol, I'm in Ohio. I'm right around, a little west of Cleveland, Ohio. So I'm going to bring in, these are the pebbled gray, or pebbled path, sorry. And I am going to have to learn all of these new names, as we all are. And I'm just going to take the pebbled path dots, designer dots, that are kind of floating around here and popping all over the place. And I'm just going to add 3 to my card. So let's put one there. Let's take a little one. Let's see if I can slide it off here. Yep, I'm going to put one here. And I always tend to kind of go in a triangle. I think that's pleasing to the eye. So let's put one up here. So here's the outside of our first card. Now for the inside, I'm going to use another piece just to brighten it up of the pretty peacock. And we're going to use a piece of the basic white as a layer for that. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pop this on there. And I typically leave a lot of times my insides blank until I know who I'm sending them to, and even what type of birthday I'm sending it, if it's a milestone or not. So this one, I'm just going to go ahead and adhere this on. I just think these colors look so pretty together, and I love that copper clay. It's such a rich looking color. Now I had a piece of Designer Series paper cut, and we're going to add that right to the edge. I'm just going to add a little bit of glue. And this just pulls in our design from the front of our card. And it's an easy way to add some color and design to the inside of your card. So here's our first card. Yes, Dixie, that DSP is gorgeous. So let's do our second card. Now our second card, we're going to use some panels to make it. So let's grab that. And with this, I tried to use all new colors. We're going to use the pebbled path. And with this, I cut out panels. This is first 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. And again, don't worry about measurements. They're going to be there for you by this evening. So, okay. Now for my front, I decided to use all panels. So I'm going to use, I'm using the crushed curry, and my panels are 1 3/4. I have two 1 3/4 by 2 3/4. They're going to lay here. And then I have is it 1 3/4 or 1 7/8? 1 7/8 by 2 7/8. Oh, sorry about that. And then 1 7/8 by 2 1/8. So they're going to lay. We had another one here that I may have dropped. Well, let's cut another one then, but this is how they're going to lay. So let's go ahead. And then I've cut different pieces of designer series paper. So this is one from the card that we just did. This is another one of the designer series paper where the background is the pebbled path. And we have the new lemon lolly. Let me hold that up so you can see it with crushed curry and our garden green. This is one of the squares from that paper I showed you that we're going to cut up. And then we're supposed to have another one of those. So let me grab my cutter. And we're going to cut another piece. So that's going to be 1 7/8. So let's do this. Let me bring this in for you. And this is a piece of scrap. So I'm just going to tuck it under here. 1 7/8 by 2 1/8. Okay. All right. Hi, Elizabeth. Thank you for joining and for sharing. So let's put these together, and they're going to be pretty quick and easy to put together. So I'm just going to go ahead and adhere my designer series papers to each one of my pieces of cardstock. And you can see these are about 1/8 of an inch different. I love this design. And I don't use it enough, and it's so easy to do. If you hear gnawing in the background, it's not me. It is my golden retriever puppy laying over in front of the door and chewing a bone. So I apologize for the gnawing. So let's add this here. And then I'm going to add a piece of basic white to my crushed curry, and that is going to be my greeting. And I'm going to have confidence that I'm going to stamp this straight, and I'm going to adhere it first. Okay, so now we're ready to lay these down. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to kind of plot them out because I want them to be pretty even from edge to edge. And that looks pretty good. And then we'll do this here. So let's go ahead and adhere these. Now, when I adhere these, once I plot them out, so to say, I want to keep them so that I have even edges, both at the top and on the sides. So as I adhere them, I'm going to match them up along the way. So with this one, I want to make sure that I have this right at the same edge, and my tops and bottoms are pretty close in size or distance. Now, when I adhere this one, I'm going to match this to the edge of the one with the yellow stripes. And why that's another good reason why I use my glue, because it allows me to slide if I need to move it around a little bit. Now with this one, I'm going to stamp it with one of the greetings from the Cheerful Daisies. I'm going to use the greeting, "Your friendship means everything." And I'm going to stamp it in the pebbled path. So let's bring that in. And ink it up. And let's go ahead and adhere this one. Again, lining up my sides and my bottoms. So here's our front. Now I want to add a little bit of bling to that. So we can come in with our, again, using the 2023, 2025 colors. And I'm going to pick up the yellow, and I'm going to pick up a medium size one. These little buggers are hard to slide off of here. Well, let's try it this way. And I'm going to put one here. Now let's put the bigger one in the middle. And then we're going to take two smaller ones. And put one here, and let's do our other one right here. So here's our front. And for our inside, we're just going to take a piece of basic white. And I did cut another strip of the Designer Series paper, and I used the one that has the pebbled path for the background. And we're going to adhere this to the right edge. Now, if you wanted, you could actually cut a strip and just adhere it to the bottom too. I have slippery fingers today. There we go. And then we're going to adhere this to the inside. Now we have one more. So hang with me for this last one, because I'm going to show you how I cut that Designer Series paper. And let's straighten this out just a little bit. There we go. And your friendship means everything. I'm going to stamp the inside of this one. And I'm actually going to use a stamp from Framed Florets. And it's So Lucky to Call You Friend. So let's ink this one up. And we'll stamp that right in the middle. So here's our second card. So there's two. All right, let's do our third one. Now for the third one, I'm going to use the piece of Designer Series paper that we're going to cut. Let me move all this out of the way because we're going to bring our trimmer in. And I'm going to cut this piece. But when I did cut the first piece like this, I cut it all at once. And I had all of these beautiful papers to use for cards. And I'm going to bring them in and show them to you. This is what I have left to use. But I cut out each of these pieces, and then I kind of put them together and mix and match to make my cards. So let's cut this one out. And I think it's much easier to cut with the trimmer. So I'm going to bring my trimmer in. And if you're familiar with the Stampin' Up! Trimmer, you know that we have a blade and we have a scoring. So I'm going to use my scoring blade and get that out of the way. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to line this up right here along these two different colors in the track of my paper cutter. It's right in the center, and I'm simply going to go down to where they intersect with the others. Okay, now I'm going to flip this around so you can see it. going to lift this up. And then I'm going to bring it in over here at the top. Let's flip it back so you can see it. And I'm going to line it up in the track again. Now, with your blade, and I'm hoping you can see this, right here you have a score mark. So that tells me where to go when I'm cutting. So I'm going to start back here. I'm going to cut along the edge, and I'm going to take that score mark right to where I meet the two colors. And then it just comes out so easily. And I did that same thing for all of them. And it took me just a few minutes to cut those out. So let's go ahead and make our third card. So I'm using Basic White Thick for my card base here. And then I took a piece of Basic White and I dry embossed it using the Time Worn Type embossing folder. That's a mouthful. I just like the look of the Time Worn Type. It's kind of soft and subtle. So we're going to go ahead and adhere this onto the Basic White cardstock. And I did cut this to fit the full front. So my cardstock is 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2, and my layer is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I wanted it to completely cover the front of my card. So there we are there. Now for my image, I have a piece, and let's see what this is. This is 4 by 4. And this also measures 4 by 4. So I'm going to cut this to 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. So we're going to bring our trimmer back in. And I'm going to cut 1/8 of an inch off each side to get to the 3 3/4, just so I keep it proportional. And then because the flowers are up towards the top, I'm going to take it off the bottom. So I'm going to take about 1/4 of an inch off the bottom. And we're done with our trimmer. Thank you, Mary. I'm glad that you're enjoying them. And we're just going to adhere this to the front of the card. Or cardstock, I guess I meant to say. All right. Now we're going to adhere this to the front, and I'm going to go up towards the top because I want to leave some room for my greetings on the bottom. Okay, and that looks good. And then for my greeting, I cut another piece of the copper clay and I stamped my greeting. And you can see I just trimmed them up. They're straight. I used my trimmer. And we're just going to pop this up on the front of our card. I like to mat a lot of times my sayings because I just think it brings in a little bit more, gives it a little bit more dimension and catches your attention. And then I'm going to pop it up with dimensionals. So let's one here, and we'll put one in the middle. There's that. And then for our inside, I cut another piece of copper clay. And we're just going to adhere our Basic White. Slide that up a little bit. And again, this is one I'm going to leave blank until I'm ready to send it. And then I'll add either a personal note or I'll stamp in sentiment. So let's bring in our 3 cards. So here's our 3 quick and easy cards using the designer series paper that is pretty as a daisy. And here's another one that I started that I have to finish yet, using another one of those cutouts from that large piece of designer series paper. So, hi Cynthia, thank you for joining. So I'm going to bring you back to me for a second. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. It does show you how to make 3 quick and easy cards using the Fresh as a Daisy Designer Series paper. Thank you, Tammy, for, I'm glad that you do love them. The paper is fabulous. So I'd love to hear which one of the cards you like best. I'm hoping you're looking forward to this bundle and paper. And I will be back with you on Friday for some more fun and another sneak peek. So I hope you have a wonderful week. Stay safe, everybody. Enjoy the nice weather that you're having. And I'll see you real soon.